King Charles's beloved Scottish getaway, Balmoral Castle, had to slam its gates shut this week with a warning so urgent it made headlines around the world. But here's the twist that'll make your Earl Grey go cold. This wasn't just any ordinary closure. Oh no, darlings. This story has more drama than a season of The Crown. So grab your biscuits and settle in, because we're about to uncover why Balmoral's emergency shutdown has royal watchers more shaken than a martini at a Bond premiere. Welcome back to Royal Cookies, where we serve up the juiciest royal gossip with a side of heart-wrenching humanity. Please remember to subscribe and click on the notifications bell icon, so you will be notified whenever we upload new cookies about the British royal family. Picture this, it's August 4th, 2025, and tourists from around the globe are planning their pilgrimage to Balmoral Castle. We're talking about the crown jewel of Scottish royal residences, the 50,000-acre playground where Queen Elizabeth spent her final days, where Princess Diana's legacy still echoes through the Highland mist, and where King Charles retreats to channel his inner Highland warrior. This isn't just any old castle, cookie lovers. Balmoral is where royal children learn to fish, where state secrets are whispered over Highland single malts, and where the monarchy goes to remember what it's like to be human. Since April, eager visitors have been touring those legendary gardens, probably hoping to catch a glimpse of where Charles talks to his plants. Because yes, he really does that. But here's where our story takes a dramatic turn worthy of a Shakespeare tragedy. Just as the estate was gearing up for what should have been one of its final public days before the royal family's annual summer invasion. Because let's face it, when the Windsors arrive, mere mortals must vacate, nature decided to throw the ultimate tantrum. Enter Storm Floris, a meteorological monarch with zero respect for actual monarchs. This wasn't your typical Scottish drizzle that makes tourists reach for their umbrellas while muttering about the weather. Oh no, cookie darlings. This was a full-blown atmospheric rebellion that had the Met Office issuing yellow wind warnings faster than you can say constitutional crisis. Now here's where things get absolutely fascinating, my royal-obsessed friends. At exactly the moment when hundreds of visitors were probably polishing their cameras and practicing their best, oh my goodness, is that a royal corgi? Expressions, Balmoral's Instagram account. Yes, even castles have social media now. Dropped a bombshell announcement that sent shockwaves through the tourism world. Balmoral will be closed to the public today, Monday the 4th of August, due to Storm Floris. Please do not travel to the estate. We will be issuing refunds for tickets to visit today. Stay safe, everyone. Now, let's pause for a moment and appreciate the royal-level politeness in that statement. Even when telling people to literally stay away from a potentially dangerous situation, they manage to sound more gracious than most of us do when asking someone to pass the salt. But here's what makes this closure absolutely unprecedented. This happened just days before the estate typically shuts for the season on August 10th, which potentially signals when the royal family begins their annual summer stay. Think about the timing, cookie lovers. This wasn't just inconvenient. It was cosmically inconvenient. Imagine being one of those tourists who'd been planning this trip for months, maybe even years. You've booked your flights, practiced your curtsy, learned the difference between a duke and an earl, and then, wham! Mother Nature crashes the party like an uninvited relative at Christmas dinner. But here's what really gets my royal radar pinging: the speed of this closure. We're talking about an estate that operates with the precision of a Swiss watch, where every hedge is trimmed to perfection and every tourist path is planned with military precision. For them to shut down with less notice than a corner shop closing early on Sunday? That's not just unusual. That's practically revolutionary. Cookie darlings, let me paint you a picture of what Storm Floris was actually doing to earn the honor of shutting down a royal residence. According to the Met Office, Warnings for wind had been issued in the area, and we're not talking about a gentle breeze that might disturb the Queen's hat. This was the kind of meteorological mayhem that makes Highland cattle look for shelter. The storm's conditions were described as unusually intense, which in British understatement terms means it was absolutely apocalyptic. We're talking about winds that could turn a royal corgi into a furry projectile, rain that would make Noah nervous, and conditions so brutal that even the famously stoic Scottish weather couldn't maintain its usual "this is fine" attitude. But here's where this story gets deliciously ironic. Balmoral has weathered centuries of Scottish storms. This is the castle that survived 2 world wars, the abdication crisis, and Princess Margaret's party years. It's seen Highland weather that would make Game of Thrones' winter is coming look like a gentle spring day. Yet Storm Florus managed to do what the Luftwaffe, Republican movements, and decades of tabloid scandals never could. It made the royals retreat. The estate's response was swift and decisive, showing a level of crisis management that would make government emergency committees jealous. Officials advised that all pre-purchased tickets would be graciously refunded, and visitors were advised to avoid the estate during such dangerous times. Even in the face of natural disaster, they maintained that signature royal grace, because apparently, good manners are more important than hurricanes. And let's talk about the impact, shall we? This shutdown, while justifiable, significantly affected tourism in the region. We're talking about people who'd traveled from across the globe, booked Highland hotels, rented cars that could navigate Scottish roads, and probably learned to pronounce Balmoral correctly. Suddenly, their royal pilgrimage became a very expensive weather report. Now this is where our story shifts from weather update to royal psychology lesson. Because the way the monarchy handled this crisis tells us everything about their current state of mind. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I want to know if you're Team Sophie or if you think I'm seeing green where there's just good fashion sense. If you're obsessed with royal strategy and environmental impact like I am, make sure you're subscribed to Royal Cookies because we're serving up the most sustainable royal content on YouTube. And remember, in a world full of fast fashion and royal scandals, sometimes the most revolutionary thing you can do is wear your values on your sleeve, preferably in a gorgeous shade of green.